Chapter 86, Suspicion and Probing. On the stage, Fang Zheng fainted on the ground with no more movements from him. Fang Yuan, however, continued with his cold expression, standing in the middle of the stage. After a momentary silence, the crowds erupted. How can this be? Some people hugged their heads, revealing an expression of disbelief. 2 punches breaking the Jade Skin Goose defense. This. Some people were tongue-tied. Too savage, even the Jade Light got smashed by him. Does he not feel pain? Some female goo masters took in a chilly breath. Without any defensive goo worm and using his bare hands to break the Jade Light. This is true blue self-harm. Even male goo masters' eyes twitched upon seeing Fang Yuan's hands and were shocked by his ruthlessness. Being ruthless to others, that is easy, but being ruthless to yourself, that is hard. Fang Yuan using his bare hands to break the Jade Skin Goose defense. It was not only savage to his younger brother, but even harsher on himself. I'll go take a look. The Academy Elder could no longer stand it, and after saying so, he jumped onto the stage. He first squatted down and observed the fainted Fang Zheng, sighing in relief as he found that Fang Zheng was not in a critical condition. His head just had a huge impact, causing him to fall unconscious. Unbelievable, with the Jade Skin Goose defense, he still suffered such heavy injuries from someone using their bare hands. The Academy Elder was shocked internally, raising his head and looking at Fang Yuan, his eyes shining with a fierce light. Fang Yuan, I'll heal you. The Academy Elder stood up, taking a few huge strides towards Fang Yuan and grabbing his forearm. Fang Yuan's arms were in terrible condition. Not only was the blood and skin vaguely mashed, even his bones were revealed. Because of the huge impact, there were also cracks on the bones. How intense this pain is, yet he didn't even frown a bit. Even if it was the Academy Elder, his heart shuddered seeing such injuries. His tone was complicated, saying to Fang Yuan, endure it, the healing is very itchy and also very painful. Saying so, his 5 fingers spread open and emitted a wave of blue moonlight. The moonlight got brighter and caused the Academy Elder's right hand to be translucent from the shine. At a glance, the Academy Elder's entire right hand was like a piece of blue jade. The blood vessels and bones were all turned into jade. The Academy Elder lightly raised his right hand and covered Fang Yuan's injured fist. It was just like a piece of cold jade touching on an injury that was mashed with blood and flesh. Fang Yuan felt a heart-piercing pain, but he gritted his teeth and did not make a sound. The Academy Elder's hand emitted gentle moonlight, and the moonlight nourished Fang Yuan's injured spot. On the bones, the cracks started to mend, and the flesh and skin started to grow rapidly and heal. Fang Yuan felt an intense itching, causing him to breathe heavily. The Academy Elder's expression was calm. While healing Fang Yuan, he diverted a part of his concentration towards Fang Yuan's arm and also inspected his aperture. Eye in the aperture. The black-green-colored copper primeval essence was raging like waves in the sea. A white and fat liquor worm was swimming and playing in the primeval sea. The 4 walls of the aperture were all made of white-colored crystal walls. This showed Fang Yuan's rank 1 peak stage cultivation clearly. The Academy Elder did not look away, but continued to skin Fang Yuan's body. Finally, he found that on Fang Yuan's palm, there was the moonlight goo and little light goo. No other goo worms. Did Fang Yuan really use his own strength to break the defense of the Jade Skin Goo? Such strength is far beyond a mortal adult. He is only 15 years old. How can he have such strength? The Academy Elder's eyes shone with suspicion. Clan Elder, thank you for your treatment. Fang Yuan took back his arm from the Academy Elder and shook it around. Although there was still some pain, the injury had already healed. If this was back on Earth, such an injury would have taken a year or 2 to heal and would even leave some serious side effects. This was the magical aspect of this world. Now that Fang Yuan's arms were healed, although he still felt like they were weak when he grabbed the air or waved them around, 7 or 8 days later, the strengthless side effect would disappear. But Fang Yuan was not grateful to the Academy Elder. His injury could also be healed by other healing goo masters, and he was well aware. The Academy Elder's motive was to inspect his aperture. Fang Yuan had expected this from the start. So he left the white boar goo and jade skin goo in the second secret cave. As for the spring-autumn cicada, with its rank 6 status, if it wanted to hide, even the rank 4 goo Yubo would not find it if he inspected personally. The Academy Elder did not find anything, and that caused him to frown. Although he was still suspicious in his heart, but in front of so many people, he did not have the proper opportunity to ask. Fang Yuan, you performed well, continue working hard. Finally, the Academy Elder patted Fang Yuan's shoulder and declared loudly, This year's final exam, the first place goes to Fang Yuan. Ever since the Academy Elder's ascension to the stage, the audience watched quietly. After hearing his announcement, they started discussing fervently. To think that at the end, Fang Yuan had the last laugh. He's merely a C grade, but he beat the rank 2 Fang Zheng who has a jade skin goo. Did he cheat? Probably not, from the Academy Elder's personal treatment and probing. If he did not find any problems, Fang Yuan probably did not cheat. Fang Yuan's fists were greatly injured. That's normal. But as a 15-year-old, having such strength that surpasses an adult by far, isn't it suspicious? What is there to be suspicious about? There are always people who are born with strange talents. Either super strength or super smart. Actually, Fang Yuan's strength isn't that scary. Think about that guy. The speaking goo master indicated at the standing Qi Shan. People were immediately enlightened. Oh yes. When Qi Shan was still a kid, his strength was already greater than an adult. Is Fang Yuan also such a monster? That has to be it. When Fang Yuan was young, he could make poems. Those poems were famous around the village back then. We thought he was an A grade, but he turned out to be C grade. But it seems heaven has other plans and compensated him with strength. He is still a C grade anyway. If he was B grade, he would be another Qi Shan. Nothing to be envious about. A goo master's cultivation relies on their talent. If I can get a black boar goo in the future, I would have even greater strength in him. That is nothing much. He can only be arrogant for a while. Some people shrugged, speaking unconcernedly. Fang Yuan walked down the stage, his eyes picking up the people's discussions as he smirked coldly inside his heart. The liquor worm's origin was already perfectly explained by Fang Yuan. But once the jade skin goo was exposed, Fang Yuan would not be able to explain it. Thus, he had to keep this secret and could not use it in public. As for these people's thoughts and explanations, it was the direction Fang Yuan wanted them to go. Or rather, even if the higher-ups were suspicious, they would only be suspicious of his mysterious backer. Half a year ago, I risked the danger and used the wild boar tusks to create a second layer of protection at the camp. It is finally coming into play. Fang Yuan's eyes were dark like the abyss. The Guyu clan leader did not sit down. He kept on standing and frowning deeply. This matter had developed out of his control. Fang Yuan getting first place, he did not really care much. It was just a year-end exam's first place. It was nothing significant. He was worried about Guyu Fang Zheng. Undeniably, today's impact was too great on Fang Zheng. If Fang Zheng was beaten completely from the start and lost the fight, so be it. But it just had to be at the point where he used his full strength and got a huge confidence boost, that he was sent sprawling by Fang Yuan's 2 fists. Such a psychological trauma might negatively impact his growth. Under my guidance and arrangement, Fang Zheng was the first to advance to upper stage, peak stage, and rank 2 initial stage, continuously gaining success and confidence. But this confidence is probably gone by now. Sigh, my hard work has all gone up like smoke. Guyu sighed deeply, naturally gaining a little sense of disgust and loathing towards Fang Yuan. If Fang Yuan had lost to Fang Zheng, everything would have been perfect. But he actually won. That is too infuriating. Not only the clan leader, but the other clan elders were also full of solemn and complex gazes. Fang Yuan's strength is actually so huge. Is he really a monster like Qi Shan? Actually, he was strange from young, making poems when he was younger than 10, so his strength getting larger as he grew up is nothing strange. But there is another possibility, and that is human action. Fang Yuan has a mysterious backer. Maybe the backer assisted him. But the person behind him, who could it be? The clan elders' hearts were overturning, but their expressions said otherwise. Clan leader Guyu went silent before revealing a smile, saying, Fang Yuan, getting first place with a C-grade talent, this is an unprecedented grand feat. Becoming first place, you have 100 primeval stones as reward and also Gu Worm choosing priority. Now, I shall reward you further. You can choose any small group you want and join it. Regardless of the group, whichever one you want, just say it, and you can join. Upon saying so, all the rank 2 Gu masters and students stared at Fang Yuan in envy. Small groups had their differences too, and joining a good group meant a bright future. Guyubo's reward was very generous. Although I made this decision on the spot, I believe the clan elders here would agree with me. Guyubo smiled even more intensely, looking at the clan elders beside him. With Guyu Qilian and Guyu Mo Chen as the head of the clan elders, all of their faces were grim and some even frowned, but no one stopped him. Fang Yuan's heart jumped. Trouble had come. Chapter 87. Attitude is the mask of the heart. Fang Yuan could see the intentions behind such an action. This was a small probing test from the clan leader. His gaze swept through the arena. The entire clan's best-performing 3 groups were here. The clan leader's faction's Qing Shu group, Qi faction's Qi Shan group, and Mo faction's Mo Yin group. If it was a regular student, joining any of the 3 groups meant getting a huge backer, representing a bright future. But to Fang Yuan, it was the reverse. In the clan's higher-ups' perception, he was already part of a mysterious faction. Joining any of the 3 spelt trouble. For example, if he joined the Qi Shan faction, the Qi family obviously know they did not recruit him. So their first thought would be, Fang Yuan is a pawn of another family, but now that he's joining our group, what intentions does he have? Next they would think, the mysterious faction that recruited Fang Yuan earlier had already broken the rules, and now that Fang Yuan is present here, the clan leader would think that we were the ones who recruited him. So isn't this carrying the fault for them? That will not do. We have to arrest Fang Yuan, keep a close eye on him, and investigate him. We shall find concrete evidence and reveal the mysterious backer of his. But the truth was, Fang Yuan has no backer. Once I join any of the 3 groups, it means I am offending one out of the 3 biggest factions in this clan. That will definitely not do. Sigh. I originally wanted to keep a low profile and join Jianghe's group, but Jianghe's group is backed by the Punishment Hall Elder. Under everyone's watchful eye, if I join abruptly, that is inappropriate as well. Fang Yuan inevitably hesitated. Gu Bo's smile became even more intense, continuing, Fang Yuan, if you don't choose, I'll select for you. The clan elders beside him watched quietly with an unmoving expression, each of them standing like statues. Forcing me? Fang Yuan's gaze shone, immediately guessing Gu Bo's next words, either throwing him to Qi Shan's group or Mo Yan's group. Gu Bo knew in his heart that he did not recruit Fang Yuan. To him, this act can not only remove suspicion on him but also weaken his foe, as well as reveal the mysterious faction. It was killing 3 birds with 1 stone. It was a play that could divert the problem away. Although seemingly simple, it was a strategic move showing Gu Bo's experienced political ability. No, I must not let him dictate it. It seems I can only choose a crappy group. Fang Yuan was about to open his mouth and speak. Suddenly at this moment, someone spoke. Why don't you join our team? Our group is lacking an attacker. Who said that? At once, everyone turned around towards the source of the voice. The person speaking was neither tall or short, with dark yellow skin that made him look sickly. A pair of triangular eyes shone with brilliance. It's the sickly snake Guyu Jiao-san. 1. Someone pointed out his identity. Guyu Jiao-san? It's just a trash team with no background. The clan leader and clan elders all showed a disappointed expression. Jiao-san. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with an undetectable dark shine. He and this Guyu Jiao-san person had never met or spoken before, and he had no memories of such a person. Why did Jiao-san open his mouth and invite him into his team? Was it purely because he had gotten first place in the examination? How can that be? Only someone as childish as Fang Zheng would have such a naive thought. But since Jiao-san opened his mouth and invited Fang Yuan personally, such a situation was a good breakthrough point. The clan's higher-ups must be very disappointed now. Hiki. Fang Yuan smiled thinking of this, his eyes looking downwards, hiding the brilliance in his expression. Then I'll join your group, Fang Yuan agreed on the spot, blocking Gu Bo's upcoming words. Is this Fang Yuan retarded? Ignoring those top-performing groups and joining the Sickly Snakes group. He must be bonkers. Jiao-san's personality, The students and Gu masters started to discuss, looking at Fang Yuan like he was a fool. The clan leaders and elders' expression turned dim. Today's probing was thwarted by this Guyu Jiao-san. No. Maybe this Jiao-san is also a pawn in this game. But no matter what, they must investigate on this Guyu Jiao-san. 3 days later, it had already been snowing for a day, and now that it was gradually getting smaller. Pieces of snowflakes flew in the air gliding with the wind. On Qingmao Mountain, there was a layer of white color over it. Many branches were naked with no leaves, except the evergreen pine trees and Qingmao bamboo, which had retained their original colors standing proudly in the snow. A group of 5 people ran in the snow. The leading person was neither short nor tall. Bearing a sickly yellow skin, it was Guyu Jiao-san. As he ran, he turned towards the quiet Fang Yuan, smiling gently with kindness. Fang Yuan, don't be nervous. Although this is your first clan mission, the contents are simple. Just follow us and learn along the way. Yes, Fang Yuan lightly replied, staring forward with a solemn expression. It was already winter. Running on the snow, the chilly winter winds were even more intense. Every breath was like eating snow dust, chilling his entire chest. Fang Yuan's face was originally very white, and now that the snow shone on it, it appeared even paler. In the process of running, the snow kept falling on his short black hair, his shoulders and forehead. What was different than before was that Fang Yuan had changed his clothes. This was a dark blue-colored battle attire. The attire had long sleeves and long pants, with bamboo sheets tied on his legs as wrappings, and bamboo shoes adorned his feet. On his head there was a bright blue headband, and the headband fluttered in the air as Fang Yuan ran. On his waist, there was a loose belt. The belt was navy blue with a bronze plate on it, carved with the number 1. It was very much eye-striking. This was a Gu Master's attire, showing Fang Yuan's status as a rank 1 Gu Master. The youngsters had to stay a year in the academy and graduate before they were allowed to wear this. This attire had much meaning. Once worn, it meant that one has transcended the realm of mortals, leaving the lowly life and stepping into the upper society, being the middle class of the entire human race. Even if rank 1 Gu Masters were the bottom of this tier, from now on any mortal had to give way to Fang Yuan and pay respects to him. Gu Jiao San's gaze continued to shine. This battle attire, when worn by Fang Yuan, coupled with his cold expression, showed the atmosphere of a cool and collected person. While running, he continued asking Fang Yuan, "We are out on a mission, and normally we would have to rush when traveling. So running is a common thing. Are you used to it?" "I can cope." Fang Yuan's words were precious like gold, using the corner of his eye to look at Gu Jiao San. Jiao San's warm and kind expression caused him to think about the legend of Renzu. Words have it that Renzu used the rules and regulation Gu and obtained strength but lost wisdom, leaving behind 3 Gu worms. One was suspicion, one was trust, and another was attitude. Renzu grabbed the attitude Gu. Attitude Gu followed the betting rules, submitting to Renzu, telling him, "Human, you caught me. I can only curse my bad luck. From now on, I will be at your command. Wear me, and you will be able to use my ability." Attitude Gu's appearance was like a mask. Renzu put it on his face, but in the end he could not wear it. Even if he used a rope to tie it, it would still fall off. "What's going on?" Renzu was troubled. Attitude Gu laughed. "I know. Human, you have no heart. Attitude is the mask of the heart, so without a heart, how can you wear me?" Renzu realized at once he had already given his heart to Hope. He was heartless. Someone who is heartless cannot wear the attitude mask. In other words, to someone with a heart/an intention, their attitude is a mask. This kind and warm attitude is only Gu Jiao San's mask. What is his real intention? Fang Yuan pondered. While the person's sickly snake Jiao San observed Fang Yuan was also secretly observing him. 1. Gu Jiao Shan. His name Jiao Shan means 3 angles, probably referring to his triangular eyes. Chapter 88. Initial display of authority, picking on, and suppression. On the snow, 5 small groups were running. Gu Jiao San looked at the sky, saying, "The sky's getting dark. Our mission this time is to collect permafrost decayed soil. Although it is easy, it consumes too much time. We have to speed up. Everyone follow me. Try not to get left behind." Fang Yuan, if you are unable to keep up, just inform us. Don't worry. You are a newcomer. We will take care of you. Gu Jiao San smiled very amicably. Fang Yuan nodded silently. The other 3 members exchanged glances. The sky was actually still bright. Jiao San had no need to say this. In reality, he wanted to give Fang Yuan an initial display of authority. The 3 knew this deep down, but did not expose him. In actuality, these kind of authoritative displays were common. When a new member joins, the older members would usually exert their authority to get rid of the younger members' arrogance so that it would be easier to command and control them. "Let's go," Jiao San said lightly, taking huge steps and being the first to rush out. Fang Yuan's gaze shone, heading out with the same speed as the other 3, following closely behind. The bamboo shoes stepped on the snow, leaving behind traces of footprints. The mountain road was full of obstacles, being difficult to maneuver. Especially with a layer of thick snow, it was even easier to fall down. At the same time, due to the snow cover, who knew if underneath it was sharp rocks or pitfalls? If one stepped into a hunter's trap, they would be even more unlucky. Living in this world was tough. Traveling seemed easy, but in fact it had much to do with experience. Many newcomers suffered due to this. Only through a long period of training, having gone through much hardship, A goo master that has accumulated much experience would be able to avoid these obstacles. The chilly winter winds blew directly towards their faces as Fang Yuan strode through the snow. At times he took small leaps. At times he ran long distances. Sometimes he sidestepped. Sometimes he climbed, following closely behind Jiao San. The entire Qing Mao was covered by a layer of snow coat, and many of the trees had naked branches, without a single leaf. At times, squirrels or wild deer were frightened by these people and ran away quickly. 30 minutes later, Jiao San stopped in his tracks as he had reached his destination. He turned over his head, looking at Fang Yuan, smiling and praising. "Good job. You truly are this year's champion, following behind me and not losing your pace once." Fang Yuan smiled silently. This kind of authoritative display, he was clear of it. In fact, sprinting in the snow had become a traditional event. Many small groups used this to suppress the newcomer's arrogance. The two stood on the spot and waited until the remaining 3 members arrived. Puff, huff, puff. They took deep breaths, their foreheads full of sweat, their faces red as they placed their hands on their weights, the last members plopping on the ground. Jiao San harshly stared at them, barking, "Stand straight. Haven't you embarrassed us enough? Look at Fang Yuan, then look at yourselves. Humph. After this mission, go back and reflect on yourselves." The 3 immediately stood up straight, but lowered their heads. They were chided by Jiao San until they did not dare to raise their heads or rebuke him. Only their gaze towards Fang Yuan changed. How strange. How can this Fang Yuan be so experienced? I did not see him fall even once. Sigh, we only have normal strength. How can we compete with this monster? Umph, not only did we not get a show to watch, we even became the sacrificial lambs. This guy. Enough, buck up. Jiao San pointed forward. This small-sized valley is our destination. Inside, there are large amounts of permafrost decayed soil for us to collect. Let's split up here and harvest the frozen earth. An hour later, we will gather here. Kong Jing, distribute the tools. Jiao San had just spoken, and the male member called Guyu Kong Jing stood up. He opened his palm wide, and a yellow light shot out from the aperture in his abdomen, landing on his palm. The yellow light dispersed, showing its true form. A frog with a golden back. This golden frog was plump with a giant snow-white belly, causing its entire body to look like a ball when inflated. The frog's mouth and eyes were all at the top of its head due to this belly being squeezed into a spot. Fang Yuan's gaze shone, recognizing this goo worm. This was the rank 2 goo worm, large belly frog. Soon after, Kong Jing's hands emitted traces of red steel primeval essence and were absorbed by the frog. Ribbit, the large belly frog screeched, opening its mouth to vomit out a steel spade. The steel spade flew in the sky, turning large quickly. In the blink of an eye, it landed on the ground, becoming a large steel spade half the size of a person. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. It called for several times, throwing up a tool each time. Eventually, the snowfield in front of everyone had 5 steel spades and 5 wooden boxes. The wooden boxes all had 2 ropes for carrying. Gu master feeding goo worms was a large burden. Thus, goo worms were limited in numbers. During the initial stages, it was hard to single-handedly deal with different environments and with different intensity of troubles. Goo masters thus often worked in groups to in a small group. There was someone doing reconnaissance, someone for offense, someone in charge of defense, someone healing, and someone as logistics support. The goo master who stood up, Kong Jing, was a logistics support goo master. He controlled this large belly frog, which was a support goo worm, where its belly had another space that could be used as storage space. Of course, every goo had its strengths and weaknesses. The large belly frog's weakness was that not only was the storage space limited, every time it vomited an item, it had to croak once, and this was irritating. Especially when a goo master is hiding in the battlefield. If handled poorly, it would reveal one's location. Another thing was, the large belly frog could not store goo worms, and it was not immune to poison, unable to store poisonous objects. After distributing the tools, each of the group members had a steel spade and a box in their hands. Let's set off. Jiao San waved his hand, leading the party into the valley. Fang Yuan held the steel spade and carried the wooden box, choosing another direction. He is after all a newbie, rushing him like that. Hee. Is the permafrost decayed soil so easy to harvest? If he cannot differentiate it, he might get normal frozen earth, wasting his efforts. The truth is, it is really difficult to differentiate. The permafrost decayed soil's color is around the same as normal frozen earth, especially under the cover of all the accumulated snow, so newbies can only dig relying on their luck. The three members seeing Fang Yuan's back view laughed internally. An hour later, they saw that Fang Yuan returned with an entire box of permafrost decayed soil, and were all stunned. Including Jiao San, all their wooden boxes were only half filled with permafrost decayed soil. Seeing Fang Yuan's wooden box, they were almost ashamed to show their results. It is all permafrost decayed soil. A member observed carefully and was even more shocked. Fang Yuan, how did you gather so much frozen earth? A female member could not hold in her curiosity and asked. Fang Yuan's brows raised, and the snowlight shone on his iris, showing a clear and transparent gaze. He laughed lightly. The Academy elder said before, the permafrost decayed soil is a fertilizer created when the snow freezes the swamp. It has a tint of purple in the blackness, and is actually very smelly, but because it is frozen by the snow, it cannot be smelled. It is the smelly fart fatworm's food. At the same time, it is also very fertile, often mixed in the soil to grow crops, fruits and vegetables. The clan sending out this mission is probably because they want to use it in the underground cave and fertilize the moon orchid flowers. His words caused the four to be frozen on the spot. These theories are obviously learnt in the academy, but theory and reality are very difficult to be linked. Has Fang Yuan collected permafrost decayed soil before? The three members looked at each other in shock. Jiu Jiao San's gaze shone, saying, "Good job, Fang Yuan." As he praised, his usual warm and kind smile became a little forced. Jiao San turned around, saying to the rest, "This way, our mission is completed. Everyone pass your spades and boxes to Kongjing, and let's return." When they got back to the village, it was already afternoon. The five walked out of the Internal Affairs Hall, Jiao San distributing the 6 primeval stones they earned. He got 2 pieces, while the rest of the members got 1. The primeval stones were so easily earned, so the members all broke into a smile. Fang Yuan kept his primeval stone stealthily. Only in his heart did he think. When a newcomer joins a small group, the clan would usually give a large reward for the mission as a form of supporting the newcomer. Collecting the permafrost decayed soil mission, the reward was at most 2 primeval stones, but because of me there were 3 times more. According to logic, I should have gotten more stones. If the snow sprinting was an authoritative display, then having us purposely collect the frozen soil alone was a sign of picking on me, and the distribution of primeval stones is suppression already. 1 or 2 primeval was not a concern for Fang Yuan. He was only wondering strangely. He and Guyu Jiao San never had any interactions, so why was he suppressing him? Unless an inspiration struck Fang Yuan. Chapter 89. A sickly snake coiling around the legs. The 5 stood on the walkway. Guyu Jiao San laughed kindly and said to Fang Yuan, "Little brother Fang Yuan, your performance really impressed all of us. It seems we did a correct thing inviting you to join us. You have just graduated from the academy and might be unclear of some things. Let me introduce you to them. Firstly, the clan missions. Each Gu master must complete at least 1 a month. The more you complete and the more perfect it is, the higher your evaluation. Secondly, the missions are distributed by the Internal Affairs Hall or the External Affair Hall. Each Gu master can only accept 1. Once accepted, they must complete it. Thirdly, under special conditions, a Gu master may choose to abandon a mission, but that will cause their evaluation to fall greatly. At the same time, rank 1 Gu masters have no rights to give up, and only rank 2 Gu masters do. But they can only abandon 1 mission a year. Fourth, the clan's evaluation is very important. It concerns your future in the clan, and the higher your evaluation, the greater your future and the brighter it is. Fang Yuan listened, nodding. These things were already memorized by him. Guyu Jiao San was right and did not misdirect him, but many key contents were not spoken. All right, the permafrost decayed soils mission has just been completed. Next, I accepted a wild deer hunting mission. The danger is low, so it is suitable for you to practice. Jiao San said to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan laughed coldly in his heart, but said, "Thank you for your concern, group leader." Guyu Kongjing immediately followed up. "Little brother Fang Yuan, you should really properly thank the group leader. Although simple missions are easily completed, they have a small reward. The group leader's actions are to take care of you. The other two female Gu masters also spoke. Yeah, little brother Fang Yuan. Action speaks louder than words. Why don't you thank the group leader by treating him to lunch? Little brother Fang Yuan, you just left the academy. Society is complicated. Human relationship is very important. If you don't know anything, just ask us during lunch. Gu Jiaosan laughed, purposely waving his hand. Don't put him in a spot. He just left the academy. He must be tied on primeval stones. How can that be? Besides, just being the first place in the year-end exam gave him 100 primeval stones as reward, right? A female Gu master purposely said, and then showed an expression of envy. I'm really envious of you. 100 primeval stones is a huge sum even to us. Group leader, you've mistaken our little brother Fang Yuan. How can he be so stingy? Am I right, little brother Fang Yuan? Yu Kongjing laughed heartily, as if he was very happy. Another female Gu master got nearer to Fang Yuan, as if they had a close relationship, saying, little brother Fang Yuan, a word of advice. You can choose not to suck up to us, but the group leader, you have to. You know, our group's evaluation has a portion written by the group leader. If he says you're outstanding, you're outstanding. If he says you perform badly, it means you really perform badly. That's right. Evaluation is very important to us Gu masters. We need at least an outstanding evaluation to be noticed by the higher-ups. In the future where we have sufficient achievements, we would be able to work for several years less. Kongjing immediately followed up. Throughout the entire process, Gu Jiaosan was smiling and watching. Finally, he waved his hand with a kind expression and laughingly said, don't speak nonsense. I am always impartial when writing my evaluation and will not be easily bribed by you. But don't worry, Fang Yuan, you are a newcomer, so now that you're in our group, I will take good care of your evaluation. If it were a normal teenager, they would have been led by the nose by these few people, feeling touched secretly. They are bullying a newcomer's ignorance and naivety. But Fang Yuan's iris was calm as the sea. Group leader being involved in the members' evaluation, that was the truth. This is the clan system, giving the authority to the group leader, so that they can manage each small group. But it is not as severe as these people said. For the clan evaluation, the group leader's evaluation is only a very small portion, and it is still mostly attributed to the clan's internal affairs hall. Or rather, even if the group leader had a great influence on it. So what? Fang Yuan didn't give a damn about the evaluation. He had already decided. Quickly raise his cultivation, reach rank 3, and then leave this place. He had never thought of staying in this clan for over 100 years to slog his life away. To these ignorant and lowly peasants, the evaluation was the most important thing. But to Fang Yuan, it was lower than dog shit. Thus, their somewhat threatening tone was of no use to Fang Yuan. I understand what you all have said. I still have something on, so I'll take my leave. Fang Yuan, after being quiet for a while, said Dade. At once, the four Gu masters showed a shocked expression. What is the meaning of this? Did you not hear what we said earlier? A female Gu master stared with her eyes wide, screaming in her heart. Is your comprehension ability really okay? Yu Kongjing at this moment really wanted to grab Fang Yuan by the collar and ask him. Jiao San's mouth twitched. Fang Yuan's indifference caused their self-directed performance to look like a joke. It made the scheme that they set up become a laughingstock. Seeing Fang Yuan turning around and walking away, the fury in his heart blazed on. Come on, Fang Yuan, don't leave so quickly. Don't listen to their nonsense. Jiao San controlled his temper and conjured a smile, quickly chasing up and blocking Fang Yuan. You're going to rent a house, right? Let us go with you. I have some personal relations. I am more familiar with the rental situation. I am indeed going to rent a house. I can't stay at the hostel anymore. Do you have any ideas? Fang Yuan raised his eyebrows, asking calmly. I know a few houses that are considerably cheap and with good location. Jiao San smiled, leading the way. My house, 15 primeval stones a month, no second price. Pfft. Renting my house with 8 primeval stones? In your dreams. You must pay a deposit, 25% deposit. Other vendors are doing this too. My house has good feng shui, and it's quiet at night. More importantly, it is facing the clan leader's pavilion. You know how good the location is. It is really cheap, only 25 primeval stones a month. All the way until night time. Fang Yuan did not find a house to stay. Little brother Fang Yuan, you're too stingy. The village is only so big. The prices are all like this. In my opinion, you should get the house near the clan leader's pavilion. The second floor is very spacious and the scenery is nice. Little brother Fang Yuan, don't be so thrifty. It is only 25 primeval stones. The reward that you got is enough for you to stay 4 months. The two female Gu masters continued to urge him on with ill intent. Fang Yuan shook his head. I do not have many primeval stones. I cannot be wasteful. Then rent an underground apartment. It's cheaper. Gu Kongjing's eyes shone with cold brilliance, suggesting. Fang Yuan snorted in his heart. This Kongjing has such a vile heart. The village is already high in precipitation, and now that it is winter, the underground apartments would have poor airflow, and tenants would easily catch a cold. Even if there aren't diseases, it would cause problems in the long term. Seeing that Fang Yuan kept his silence, Jiao San said, actually the big hall's first floor is good too. Co-staying with other people causes the rent to reduce as well. Fang Yuan shook his head. I want to stay alone. I do not like to stay with others. Gu Kongjing snorted, saying unhappily, you don't want this. You don't want that. I'm not trying to scold you, little brother Fang Yuan, but you're too picky and expect too much. With such high standards, it is not realistic. Fang Yuan listened, laughing coldly in his heart while thinking, even if they fulfill the criteria, I would not accept any house you recommend. His act of pacifying them was just for the sake of being careful, finding out if there are any traps. Just as Fang Yuan was about to leave, Mother Shen appeared. Young Master Fang Yuan, I finally found you. The academy can no longer be stayed at, and the old master and his wife have already prepared a banquet, specifically asking me to invite you home. Staying at home is so much better. There is no need for you to go about renting houses outside, she urged. Finally here, Fang Yuan laughed coldly in his heart. This Mother Shen really found a good time. Finding him here at once, someone must have notified her. Just as he had expected, the masterminds were his uncle and aunt. And Jiao San was the chain that his uncle and aunt created to bind him. Fang Yuan's silence looked like hesitation. Fang Yuan, why don't you stay at your uncle and aunt's house? Why make life difficult? Renting a house will spend a lot of primeval stones. Jiao San spoke in a concerned manner at an appropriate juncture as he looked at Fang Yuan, his eyes shining ominously. Chapter 90. It's just a little wind frost. In the hall, the lights shone brightly on the round dining table. The wine was already cold, and the dishes were cool. The brilliant red candle flickered and danced, projecting the shadows of aunt and uncle onto the wall. The two figures' shadow combined into one, and swayed gloomily with the candlelight in front of them. Mother Shun was kneeling. Uncle broke the silence. To think this Fang Yuan is dead bent on going against me. Sigh. I wanted to calm him down with nice words and keep him in the house first before finding a reason to chase him out of the house. To think that he did not fall for it. He has made up his mind, rejecting my invitation without a single way to negotiate. Not even taking a step into my house. Aunt gritted her teeth, her expression slightly flustered. This scoundrel is already 16 years old, so if he wants the family fortune now, we cannot deny it to him. Years ago, we obtained that family fortune, and it was clearly recorded in the Inner Affairs Hall. Now that we cannot deny it, what shall we do now? Leave first. Uncle waved at Mother Shin to withdraw, laughing coldly. Don't be anxious. Throughout the year, I have already been planning for this. First, to get back the assets, he needs to have rank 1 middle stage cultivation. He already achieved this and is even at peak stage and gotten number 1 in the exam. That is very impressive. Hee. But, to successfully obtain his family fortune, it is not so easy. Rank 1 middle stage cultivation is only a precondition. To split the assets, Fang Yuan has to apply for it, and the Internal Affairs Hall has to approve it and send him a mission to test if he has the qualifications. This is to prevent the clan from splitting family assets nonsensically, causing internal strifes and weakening the clan. Aunt was enlightened. This means that he has to complete the mission before he can get his parents' inheritance. That's right. Uncle laughed sinisterly. But the Internal Affairs Hall's missions are sent to groups. The family asset mission will be the same. If Fang Yuan wants to complete it, he would have to rely on the group. He cannot do it alone. The family does this to make sure that the small groups stay united and increase their cohesiveness. Aunt laughed loudly. Husband, you're too smart. Getting Jiao San to recruit Fang Yuan. This way, if Fang Yuan wants to accomplish the mission, he would need their strength. But Jiao San is on our side. So Fang Yuan can never accomplish this mission. Uncle's eyes shone smugly. Humph. Even if he cannot get him into the group, I have other ways to deal with him. Not to mention completing the mission. Even if he wants to apply for the splitting of the fortune and receive the mission, it might not be possible. Nightfall arrived, and the snow stopped. Fang Yuan walked on the streets. The bamboo houses along the way were all covered by a layer of white snow. The snow that he stepped on emitted a light sound. The cold air entered his respiratory system, causing Fang Yuan's brain to be extremely awake. After rejecting Mother Shun, Fang Yuan disregarded Jiao San and the group's advice and said goodbye to everyone, leaving by himself. So that's it. He walked and thought. Uncle and aunt are trying to trap and delay me, causing me to lose the chance to take back my inheritance. After the new year, I would be 16 years old and be qualified to split the assets. My parents are dead, and my brother has new parents. If I am successful, the entire inheritance is mine. But to take back the inheritance, there are two crucial steps, each being extremely important. The first is to apply for the mission at the Internal Affairs Hall without any other missions at hand. The second is to complete the mission to earn the rights to inherit the asset. Jiao San is in cahoots with uncle and aunt. Leaving aside the second step, he's already trying to trap me at the first step. The clan rules state that Gu Masters can only be on one mission at a time. This is to prevent Gu Masters from hogging and causing negative competition in the clan. Jiao San received missions consecutively. After finishing the Permafrost Decayed Soil mission, he immediately accepted a new mission for catching wild deer. The clan's missions were all given to groups. That is to say, according to clan rules, Fang Yuan has to finish the deer capturing mission before applying for his asset splitting mission. But at that point, I believe Jiao San would just accept another new mission. As the leader, when accepting missions, he will always be a step ahead of me, causing me to be unable to accept my mission, thus always stopping me. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan's eyes shone ominously. These plots and schemes were irritating, like an invisible rope blocking Fang Yuan's progress. But Fang Yuan did not regret entering this group that at the arena. He was backed into a corner. Jiao San's invitation became a way for him to be free from the predicament. If he did not enter the team, his uncle and aunt would have other ways to deal with him. This cannot be prevented and will be hard to defend against. But now that he is in the group, he can clearly see their schemes and easily counterattack. Solving this problem, I have my ways. The easiest way is to just eliminate Jiao San or assassinate uncle and aunt. Then no one would compete with me over the family assets. But this way is too risky. They are all ranked 2 Gu Masters, and my cultivation is still too low. Even if I kill them, I cannot get out of the troublesome aftermath. Unless there is a good chance for me to take advantage of, but these chances are usually by luck. Fang Yuan could kill the servant Gao Wan and could kill Old Man Wang. But that was because they were mortals and servants, with life cheap as grass. Killing them was akin to killing a dog or pulling off weed. It was insignificant. But assassinating Gu Masters is very troublesome. Gu Masters were all Gu clansmen. No matter which one dies, the punishment hall would investigate. Fang Yuan evaluated his own strength and knew there was too much risk in killing them now. He might even get killed. Even if he kills them, the punishment hall's investigation is even more troublesome. His future actions would be spied on, and they might even find out the Flower Wine Monk's inheritance, attracting a much larger problem when eliminating a small problem. That is not what a wise person does. Oh, I'm here, Fang Yuan spoke lightly, stopping at a worn-out bamboo building. This bamboo building was torn and worn out, like an old man about to die, panting for his last breath in the cold, harsh winter. Seeing this bamboo building, Fang Yuan's face showed a trace of reminiscence. This was the room he rented in his previous life. After being thrown out by his uncle and aunt, he had less than 15 primeval stones left and had to sleep in the streets for a few days before finding this place. This place was too worn out and had much lower rent than other places. In addition, while other places counted the rent by months, this place calculated it by days. I do not know about other places, whether or not they have uncle and aunt's traps. But my previous life's memories tell me that at least this place is safe. Fang Yuan rang on the door. After half an hour, he established the renting terms and was brought to the second floor by the owner. The floors were old, emitting dangerous and concerning sounds when stepped on. The room had only one bed and a blanket. The blanket had many patches but was still riddled with some holes, and the yellow cotton wadding leaked out from inside. The head of the bed had an oil lamp. The landlord left after lighting the lamp. Fang Yuan did not sleep, but sat on the bed and started cultivating as his primeval sea raged on in the aperture. Every drop of primeval essence was black-green. The aperture's four walls were a white crystal color, in a translucent state. Rank 1 peak stage. Suddenly, the green-bronze primeval sea started to have currents, like wild beasts raging and suiciding towards the four aperture walls. Bam, bam, bam. The huge waves crashed onto the aperture walls, causing the little ripples to break into small droplets before dissipating. After a while, the 44% primeval essence sea was quickly expended, with large amounts of primeval essence used up. On the sturdy aperture walls, there was lines of cracks, but just cracks were not enough. Fang Yuan wanted to break through rank 1 peak stage and reach rank 2. Thus he needed to break this aperture wall completely. Evolving through its destruction, black-green primeval essence continued to attack the crystal wall, and the cracks increased, forming a giant piece. At some places, the cracks were even deeper, forming very evident lines as he used up the primeval essence. He did not continue to use primeval essence to attack, and the crystal walls started to heal, causing the cracks to vanish. Fang Yuan was not surprised, collecting his spirits and opening his eyes. The oil lamp had gone out already. There was not much oil anyway. The room was dark, with only the window providing a little bit of light through the crack. The room had no fire pit and was not warm. Fang Yuan had sat on the bed for a long time without moving, and felt that the chilliness had intensified. His dark iris fused with the darkness. To break through Jiao San's lock, there is an easier and safer method. That is to advance to rank 2. Rank 1 Gu Masters have no right to give up on missions, but rank 2 Gu Masters can do it once a year. If I advance to rank 2, I can give up on my mission and apply for the asset splitting. But to break through to rank 2, it is not an easy task. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan sighed. Coming down from his bed, he strolled around in the tiny room. From initial stage to middle stage to upper stage, these are all small realms. From rank 1 peak stage to rank 2 initial stage, that is breaking through a large realm. Between these two cases there was an extremely different difficulty. Simply put, to break the crystal wall, it needed explosive strength, forming a strong impact in a short time to smash the wall. But Fang Yuan only had C-grade talent, and the primeval C is only at 44%. If he used his entire force to attack the wall, his primeval essence would be used up immediately. Just like earlier, after his primeval essence was exhausted, he would no longer have the strength to continue. And the wall had recovery ability, so before long, it would heal up. Whatever Fang Yuan did earlier would have been wasted. Breaking the wall and reaching rank 2 without special situations, one needs 55% black-green primeval essence. But my talent is limited, having only 44%. Thus people say that talent is the key in a Gu Master's cultivation. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan slowed in his steps. Unknowingly, he had moved to the window. Thus he opened the windows casually. Every gust of wind shook the bamboo lattice window, and when opened the snow-covered mountain greets one's eye. 1. Under the moonlight, the snow was like white jade, spreading out and letting the world resemble a crystal palace before one's eyes, untainted by dust. The snowlight shone onto Fang Yuan's youthful features. His expression was peaceful and calm, his brow smooth, his pair of orbs looking like the ancient spring underneath the moon. As the cold winds blew onto his face, the young man laughed. It is merely a small bit of wind frost, 2. 1. This is a line from a poem. 2. Just a little wind frost. Non-literal sense refers to hardship/obstacles. A pun to the obstacles that he is facing.